You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the hosts or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Welcome back to the Athletes United platform on the Edge Radio Networks, where truth still matters. I'm your host, of course, Big Mel, also known as his judgeship, master of all that he surveys and final arbiter of all that comes before him. I'm rather hoarse this morning, if you hadn't noticed, and we have as our co-host today my very own son, Big Sonny.
Hello.
How are you doing
great
this morning, Big Sonny? How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic.
Doing great. Feels great to be back.
Fantastic. We're very, very grateful to have him back. Young man has been traveling around, been getting around a lot professionally, and now he's back to give us the benefit of what he knows and how he does it. Today we have an interesting program, Sonny.
Okay.
We have a young man who's been involved in philanthropic ventures. He's a former athlete, sort of like yourself and I. And I want to talk to him a bit about some of the things he's invested into the community, some of the ways he's up raising consciousness and awareness of various things within the Willow Ridge community.
Willow Ridge.
Willow Ridge.
A lot of history there at the high school.
Oh, you bet. Names like Thurman Thomas comes up.
Yeah.
Fantastic high school and basketball players such as, what's the three kids' names? There's some awesome kids. One of the last name was, I'm trying to think of this kid's name.
Recent?
Duke University.
Was a basketball player,
Basketball player.
Daniel
Ewing.
Yeah.
He played with Ford.
Yeah. He was a guard, right?
Yes.
Nice little guard.
Awesome tandems.
Yeah.
I mean, that high school has produced.
Yeah.
And I recall way back sometime when it was brand new, everybody was saying, you can't compete in 5, you can't compete in the big class, a brand new school. Thurman Thomas was quarterback.
Quarterback?
He ran the first 3 plays.
Wow.
It seems he did. They were
Absolutely.
awesome. Just fantastic. So we want to introduce this young man. I presume he's prepared to go. His name is David Long. Are you with us, David? And David's going to take some time to get with us. But yes, as we were mentioning, Sonny, what a program.
Yes.
I mean, out of the blue, this program developed.
Well, Thurman Thomas, so you mentioned Thurman Thomas, right? He had a very successful NFL career.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely, as a running back.
Running back.
Yeah.
But you said he played quarterback?
He played quarterback.
Willow Ridge. That's a fun fact I didn't know.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Interesting. And it seemed like he would just take every snap and take off.
Right. Wow.
They advanced to the championship game, I recall, one year in the Astrodome against Dallas Highlands High. Dallas Highlands, very wealthy area, sort of Woodland, River Oaks type area.
Okay.
And I recall that somebody said, the press was saying, that the Highlands front line outweighed the Cowboys front line by an average of 5 pounds.
This was a high school team.
This was a high school team.
Wow.
Thurman, who would typically run 150, 200 yards on anybody.
Yeah.
I think he had like a negative 50 yards that night or something.
Negative.
He was running backwards most of the time.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
Just an awesome night, those kids. And
Can you imagine that, though? I mean, a high school, talking about high school team.
Bigger than
with
the
a
Cowboys.
line like that.
Where do you get those kids from, man?
Man, what are they eating?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. There was a magazine show on television once, aired an episode about something referred to as a, he said, you know what a quarterback is? You know what a fullback is? You know what a running back is? He said, have you ever heard of a holdback? People are like, a holdback apparently, a kid my size, your size, he's a junior in high school, let's say. He's young.
Okay.
He's young.
I know where you're going.
He's only about 16.
Yeah.
He's very young.
Yeah.
And A student maybe. Suddenly this kid started making D's and F's and It's just not understandable.
Just out of the blue.
Inexplicable, and out of the blue. Because his parents and the coach and the principal had gotten together.
Had some arrangements, huh?
We can just keep this kid around another year. He'll be about 6'8", 6'9", weigh 290 pounds. He'll be awesome.
Right,
you know?
right.
And they would absolutely conspire to keep these kids out one more time. So that was a holdback.
It seems like that's a prevalent thing here in Texas, because I never really seen that until I got out here. And I experienced that as I was teaching, you know, and I was in education.
Yes.
You know, I had a similar experience there. Well, we did that with a kid, but it's due to his age.
His age.
Yeah.
For full disclosure, my boy Sonny, former NBA player, world travel player, former Globetrotter, played overseas for several years. So it brings a lot of credibility to the subject. But football, man, is a religion in Texas.
Man.
Huh?
Yeah.
How about that? It is the fourth wall of some kind.
Seriously.
Way out in all patch area they refer to as Midland, Odessa.
Yeah. Good football out there?
Great football. 2 high schools.
Yeah.
Who always play at the end of the year.
Right.
And irrespective of the records by the team, that is a grudge match. You never know who's going to win that.
In Midland.
In Midland. Sometimes Odessa Permian ranked number 1. Midland Lee is ranked number 2 sometimes. And sometimes neither one is ranked. Sometimes one is having a poor season, the other having a great. But the team having a poor season might smack the team that's having a great season at the end of the year.
Wow. So what you're saying is really is equivalent to what we refer to as the Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights.
Right.
That's what it amounts to.
In that area, right? Small town, you know, nothing else going on.
No.
No professional team.
No.
You know.
They're 400 miles away from Denver, 400 miles away, in parts of Denver, they're 400 miles away from Dallas.
Yeah.
They're in the middle of nowhere, literally. So yes, there's no professional sports close by, so it takes on an entirely new dimension. There's been times when both teams are highly ranked, and they got this huge stadium sitting out there at the end of town.
Wow.
The whole town goes out there, and they have to have some like National Guards or extra guards to come and draw out the community.
Wow.
It's outrageous.
That's crazy.
Grudge match of the worst kind. And it turns out that the wealth, fractures right along wealth and race lines, the wealth tends to gravitate to Midland, while the working class community, the poor community, is in Odessa. Yeah. But Odessa tends to produce best athletes.
Right, right. I was going to say, you know, let's switch gears. I have an excellent choice of topic.
Oh.
Tim Tebow. I don't know if you heard the current situation with him.
A fullback or something?
No, a wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what, you know, I was watching First Take yesterday, and they were talking about him making a comeback. Initially, when he, you know, first made his little run in the league, they were trying to get him to convert to that position, but obviously he was reluctant to do that, and he, you know, pursued the quarterback thing, which that didn't turn out too great. However, he's looking at a second opportunity, if you will.
Is he that fast?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, but here's the thing, though. You got to look at the connection here. I always tell people, oftentimes it's about relationships, right? But this coach is the coach that was with him when he was in college at Florida.
Oh,
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
So you see the correlation.
The coach.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, would any regular Joe get that opportunity? Think about it.
Probably not. Probably.
You know what I mean? Or, you know, think about these guys is working, busting their tails every day.
Yeah.
In that position.
Yeah.
And they can't even get an opportunity.
They're going to get cut.
We were talking about this yesterday, about, you know, what's the likelihood of somebody, you know, that's in that position, you know what I mean, just getting an opportunity. Then you got this guy who's been out the league 2 or 3 years probably or more. He decides, I want to give it a shot again. How does that work? I mean,
listen,
this is good.
During Kaepernick's exile, if you will, the first couple of years, one team lost starter and backup. And so they had resort to a third-string quarterback. For a backup for him, they went and got some guy who hadn't played in 3 years or selling cars. Some guy. I forget which team that was. Since it was Denver.
That was Denver, right? He was with the Broncos, yeah, because they beat the Steelers.
Okay.
Am I right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers, and I think they knocked them out of the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, they went and got some guy, man.
So that's his kind of his claim to fame. I'm a big fan of the guy, Tebow. I like what he stands for, but you know, I don't know. I was listening to that argument yesterday. I was just like, oh. You know, it's you think about those guys, man, that's busting their chops out there.
Yeah.
That play that position. That's their natural position. This guy was quarterback. Now he's about to transition to that position. That's a whole nother world.
It is a whole nother world.
So the question comes up: does he have the speed? Right.
The elusiveness.
Right. Does he have the hands? Does you have to be able to catch? When I think about receivers, obviously we can't mention him in the same likes of Jerry Rice and these types of people, but these people had hands, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Unreal.
Can he catch?
That's a good question.
How many yards can he pick up after the catch?
Somebody once, as Carl Lewis was winding down his career, thought, he'd be an excellent wide receiver. Mm-hmm. But you can go out there. Carl Lewis, back in that day. You can get over there in that corner and outrun everybody. Catch like this. You're still on there.
Well, if he catches it, it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Nobody gonna catch him.
Nobody's gonna catch up with it. That's for sure.
Right. It's a wrap. 2 minutes.
Back in the day, I guess the model is Bullet Bob Hayes. Hayes was an awesome Olympic sprinter. He was built like some kind of gridiron guy, but jet fast for his day.
Yeah.
Won, I think, some gold medals. And Cowboys gave him a run. Turned out to be awesome.
Yeah.
He could catch.
What was the name?
He was Bob Hayes. And they referred to him as Bullet Bob.
Bullet Bob.
He's in the Wall of Fame there in Dallas Stadium.
Yeah.
Hall of Honor. The man's incredible. Incredible. And we're going to be back after a couple of messages here. Come on back with us.
Come on back with us.
Hey y'all, I'm Robin B.
And I'm Dr. Kiva.
And we just want to know
how you living?
Join us every Monday
at noon Central Standard Time
here on Edge Radio TV. Take care.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
And we're back. The Athletes United platform here on Edge Radio TV, where truth
still matters.
Absolutely. As we broke Sunday, we were talking about some of the Bears athletes and Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
What do we know about him, man, at this juncture? What is his prospects?
Well, I mean, I guess obviously he's a free agent, and he's, got a shot at it with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville. Wow.
Yeah, as I was saying, the connection there, he in college he played for Urban Meyer. I'm not sure if Urban was the head coach.
He may have been assistant.
He was like an assistant coach.
Yeah.
And,
whoever there was went to South Carolina. Wanda was the coach at the time. Guy they referred to as the coach. I don't know what his name is. But he eventually wound up coaching South Carolina.
Really? For football?
Football. We just referred to him as the coach.
The coach, huh?
Yeah. I think he may have won a Heisman when he was playing.
Really?
Yeah. And coached a couple of Heisman guys.
Got him stomped on that one.
Yeah, Florida, the coach. But no, that's going to be interesting. See if he can.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the Tim Tebow thing, though. I mean, like, the question would be, did he get that if it were not for Urban Meyer and the relationship, as I spoke of earlier, would he get that opportunity?
Relationships count.
Absolutely.
Relationships matter.
Absolutely. This man's been out of the game. How long? How many years?
About 20 years.
No.
Not quite that long.
Not quite that long. About 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. Yeah.
And you're in that position. And you got guys coming out of college. You got guys that are, free agents who's been playing that are proven in the position.
Perhaps they're patronizing him a bit, or just humoring him.
I think he has a legitimate shot, though.
Really?
I think he does.
Don't you know the DB is going to be all over him?
It comes back to that word we just mentioned, though. Relationships. Right?
It matters.
It matters, right? I mean,
he may not be a starter.
You can best believe Urban Meyer, he may be in an assistant role, but you can best believe that his voice matters.
Well, sure.
Right? He's going to have a say-so in it.
Can you imagine him being a starter?
Starter? No, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't go that. Right. I'm talking just making the roster.
So I see.
Yeah, making the roster. I wouldn't go that far.
53.
Yeah, that's going a little too far.
Wow.
I would love to see him just catch a ball, though.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big swole guy.
Yes. 6'4".
He doesn't have your typical receiver frame.
No, he doesn't.
Receiver frame. I think about Jerry Rice. I think about what's the guy, out of Minnesota. You stayed in Minnesota for a minute,
Peterson, Butch Carter?
Carter.
AC.
Yeah,
AC.
man. He was cold-blooded, man.
Come on.
Cold-blooded.
He would be more in the tradition of a tight end.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah. You talking about Tebow?
Yes, he would be more in the tradition. I used to work out with a guy, Steve Jordan, who was tight end for the Vikes in the 80s. He had the distinction of being the only NFL player at that time from the Ivy League He was
from the Ivy League.
He was a precision.
The only one.
The only one.
Wow.
He was a precision engineer at Brown University. And boy, was he awesome. Was he a spectacular, model physique, specimen kind.
Yeah.
And mercy, man, he would tell me stories of, you're over the middle, here comes the ball, and you hear footsteps. He said a lot of folks grow alligator hands.
Right.
They don't want the ball in those kind of circumstances.
Never understood that.
I was explaining what he told me to my father-in-law once as we're watching Bears versus Giants one Christmas week. Steve was telling me, against a man coverage, when you catch the ball, you can proceed on. He says, against zone coverage, when you catch, your first step needs to be upfield. There's a monster back waiting on the side there to take you out. Mm-hmm. I'm explaining this to my father-in-law one day. I know this is anecdotal, man. You'll forgive this rant, but Jerry Rice, over the middle. Yeah. He's not a tight end. Right. He's a wide receiver, so maybe you don't observe these conventional rules, conventional wisdom. Right. And he gets him a great catch, Steve Young, with his left hand. And Bears are playing at 46 defense. And Rice continues on. Yeah. Well, Singletary's sitting over there on that swamp corner. And put his helmet right here on Rice. They had to go to various commercials to get Rice off the field.
Hey, Singletary was no joke, man.
Mercy.
No joke.
Mercy.
My goodness.
So there are things there are immutable rules you have to follow in that game, I suppose.
Really?
Yeah. I love that game.
Let's switch gears to talk about something different, just a little bit. Then we can kind of come back to that. Michael Vick came up in the news the other day. I was watching. I think it was one of the sports shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it said that
about the Humane Society, or
no.
I was just curious.
You didn't go there.
I was curious. That's all. I'm sorry.
No, but he ran the 40, man.
Wow.
And according to my sources, man, he ran the 4.72 in the 40, and he's at age of 40 plus. He's got to be. Yeah, he's got to be over 40, man.
And he's running the 4.7.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's unbelievable.
He can play for somebody.
I don't know about that now. I don't know about that. Father Time is undefeated. Undefeated. Once you hang him up, you hang him up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can't take kind of punishment anymore.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want that. Yes. I would not want that.
And speaking of punishment,
right?
Have you watched the Lakers lately?
Man,
world champions.
Somebody told me they got smashed last night. I didn't get to see the game.
They, without those two superstars, are not a very good team. You know what I mean?
So both of them were out last night.
LeBron's out, and AD, of course.
He's not back to his form, right?
Yeah,
right now.
He was out a little bit last night.
Yeah.
AD, if you will, all the talent in the world, we know this.
Yes.
And kid grew, 9 inches over a period of time?
Yes.
Right?
Went from a guard to center.
Jesus.
Power forward.
AD lives around a guy who truly invested in his body, his frame, his physique, and his sustainability. Yeah. AD is 6'11", now 7 foot, and this kid has a midsection. He's less than 30 years old. He's developing a midsection.
You serious?
A little round midsection.
Oh, man.
And I just don't think that he can sustain this kind of, this kind of required energy.
Right.
If he doesn't switch, man, if he somehow doesn't subscribe to strenuously shredding up and taking care of his body.
Right. It's important.
Yeah, it's a mechanism. That is your mechanism.
Yeah.
I had an ex-girlfriend used to tell me that whenever she saw the movie Rocky, and she thought about me.
The movie Rocky?
I'm not bragging on it, but I would get up at 4:30 in the morning and run.
Yeah, yeah.
And the people in the neighborhood who went to work early had grown so accustomed to me that they started to draw up a circle around me as I'm going down this big hill by my apartment. Yeah. And I would come back to the hill of that apartment and do calisthenics and push-ups and jumping jacks and all of that. And by 6 a.m., I'm feeling fresh.
Right, right.
Yes. You got to train.
You have to, man. No substitute for that.
You won't last.
Got to get it in, man. Got to get it in. But at that age, how could you? I mean, man, we talk about 6-pack, right?
Yeah.
Man, you should have a 8-9 pack.
At that age.
At that age.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Come on, man. You know you have a special diet. You training so many hours a day. How could your body not look?
Kobe told a story of the night he scored 81.
Yeah.
He said for pregame meal, he had Burger King. You know?
Burger King.
Burger King. But when he was 26, 27 years old at that time.
You get away with that at that age.
He says within a year or two, he realized he wasn't going to be able to do that anymore.
Right.
His body was changing.
Yeah.
He's getting a little thicker in parts where he didn't know it.
Right.
So he went on this kind of, plant-based scientific diet.
Yeah. And
started a new training regimen.
Yeah.
And lasted way into his 30s, even with that bad Achilles.
Yeah.
You try to observe this. LeBron is what? 280 pounds almost.
Yeah.
But that kid takes his shirt off.
Man, lean.
Wow.
Lean.
Wow.
Yeah. Probably like 6% body fat.
Yes.
Or less.
How much he spent?
$1 million a year, something like that.
$1 million, son.
Yeah, but think about how much he make a year.
Yeah, think about that.
I mean, this guy is over 200 million. He's earned.
He's going to be a billionaire.
In less than 5 years.
He owns part of the Minnesota Vikings or Twins. Who's invested with? It's something weird like that.
It's a good one. I'm not sure.
Or is it a Canadian team?
I thought it was a soccer team or something.
Soccer team, is that what it is?
Yeah. Let's touch on that. We're going to get ready for break. Go ahead, take us out for break.
All right, very good.
Let's touch on Chris Paul. I want to speak
Chris Paul. We'll be right back.
His age, doing what he's doing.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
I'm trying not to lose my head.
Hey, this is the Talk About Unity show where I bring the talk.
And I bring the unity.
And together we talk about unity. Unity is what matters.
Come on.
And right now in our country, that's what we've got to do. So we do that here, Talk About Unity on the Edge Radio Network. Be with us every week.
It's going to be awesome. It always is. And I tell you what, the more we seek first to understand, then be understood, we make progress.
And we like to do that. And that's why everybody's on the brink. We love what we do at Edge Radio because everybody's on the edge. We bring them back from the edge and we bring the unity. So we're just glad. Edge Radio Network every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Talk About Unity because here at Edge Radio Network, truth still matters.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
And we're back. The Athletics United platform on the Edge Radio TV network, where truth
still matters.
I'm your host, Big Mel, also known as his Judgeship. He who masters all that he surveys and is the final arbiter of all that comes before him. We're delighted today to have our co-host, Big Sonny, my son, Big Sonny Lorenzo.
Hello.
And we're here today with a unique guest, Sonny. Young lady, I've come through and I have to admit I know something about her corporate background. She's come through a corporate background into entrepreneurship with land management or something along this nature, and she's now entering a different industry. Kind of interesting, kind of industry that manages risk, future risk. From an actuarial standpoint, manages financial risk, if you will. Using various life insurance products and various methods of liquidating estates. So we're going to talk to her a little bit about that today and see exactly what she knows about this, right? We're going to examine her a little
All right.
bit, okay?
Put in the hot seat, huh?
In the hot seat.
Relax. I was just joking.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program, Miss Michelle Yanis, if you will. Miss Michelle, how are you today, Michelle?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I am excited to be here. A little nervous.
A little nervous?
A little nervous, but very excited and very humbled to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you. No need to be nervous. We're just going to ask you some very, very delicate questions that you may not have an answer for, and so we're going to try to embarrass you.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right.
But first off, explain a little bit about what it is you're doing now. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would make a little more sense to kind of go where I started,
Okay,
and then
very
why
good.
I transitioned and what I'm doing now and
Very
why.
good. She's already running the program. So I mean, that's
Boss.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Well, as you're well aware, fresh out of college, my first official job, I got to work with you, which was a blessing. I don't care what you say, it was.
Absolutely hope so.
And that was in the human resources arena.
Mhm.
And it was really great. One of the things that you believed in, and I just picked up and ran with, was to cross train. Knowledge is power. If we all know, we can all be helpful. And you did. You sent me to your different reps that you had, and I would learn from them. But also, you knew that I had a skill set with computers, and some of your reps were a little bit lacking. So I would impart that knowledge, Microsoft Office products and that sort of stuff.
Sure.
And so it was a give and take. And when I sadly left Federal Express, I moved on to a third.
Walked out. Left me holding the bag. No, honestly, it's a good move.
I helped find a good replacement.
You did. You very much so.
I went to a third-party logistics company, and I was the HR supervisor there. And it was a warehouse, stocks, pickers and packers. I actually took that cross-training methodology with me. So here I am in my dress clothes, learning how to drive a forklift. Yes. And I did. I learned how to do that.
Really?
I know. Yes.
You driving a forklift?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, it's been a while.
Oh, okay.
It might take me a minute, to remember how to do all that.
Yeah.
But
Proof positive that she's a hands-on type.
Yes, very hands-on. So I then in turn, we had a spare room with some spare computers. So I took it upon myself to make a little training class, if you will. So we had our warehouse workers, some of them didn't even have computers at home at the time. They would come in, I would do 30-minute little sessions, Word 101, Excel, just to expose them to that so they would be more comfortable. So again, I'm learning and trying to give back, learning and sharing, just taking that on with my career. Then I ended up in education.
Wow.
Which seemed like a natural fit.
It would.
I taught 8th grade, keyboarding, learning how to type, learning how to do business letters, basic interview skills, transitioned to high school.
Wow.
At a career campus in Spring ISD. Again, teaching those Microsoft Office products, basic web page building, and then taught business math at the community college for adults. So I did that for a while. Imagine my surprise then when it shifts and I find myself in oil and gas. I became a landman. So I did that. I guess I still sort of do that on the side.
Yes.
And if you don't know what a landman is, just the simplest way to put it is, for example, in the state of Texas, when you sell your property, you can reserve the minerals. And that too, the oil and gas companies want to reach out to and find who owns those minerals so that they can lease them. And then that way they can legally go in and then get the products out of the ground.
Are you suggesting I could sell my home and reserve the mineral rights?
Yes. More than likely, though, you're in a subdivision, and probably the developer reserved all those rights.
They already took care
yes.
of it for me.
So it would be my job to go to the courthouse, to run the title, to find out, back, in sovereignty, run it forward, who are the correct mineral owners to this day, and then go knock on their door.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I have a friend that used to do that line of work. He said it could be pretty dangerous at times.
Well,
dealing with the owners.
Yes, it could. It can. I was very fortunate. I did have to, we call it leasing rooftops, going into a subdivision where the homeowners actually own the minerals because they weren't reserved. and I was pregnant at the time. So that got me a lot of sympathy, and I never got harassed, or no one was angry, or no one greeted me with a shotgun or anything like that because I was on their property. So, but there are those stories.
Yes, because he has some stories.
Just
his story.
The fact that you're asking, or
well, just you could find that with an older person out west on their ranches, and then here you are coming onto their property uninvited. So that might not be a good thing.
My friend said he would carry a weapon on him. Just be on the safe side.
Be on the safe side.
They see you as the Internal Revenue Service or something. What do they see?
Well, it's just misguided ideas of maybe what that person is wanting.
Maybe thinking that you're coming to harm them or something like that.
Right. So, but I've never heard of anyone actually being injured. So that is good.
Miss Lady, you survived that.
Yes, I did. And but what was fascinating, even in that role, as new people would come on, because in 2006, the area that I was working was just exploding. So they needed so many more people to come in and to help do the title work. And so I found myself, guess what? Training and sharing my knowledge and helping them and getting them set up and making sure they knew the ropes. So, and I transitioned in-house. I was working in downtown Houston with 2 major clients. I'm an independent contractor this whole time, not an employee. And my last client I was with for 5 years, which was great, but they were affected with the oil and gas downturn. They were affected, because of COVID and everything is compounding, and they ended up closing their doors in December. Down, closed shop. So I found myself thinking, okay, I'll ride this wave. This is December. I'll stay home with my kids. I have 3 children. We'll enjoy the holidays, and then come January, I'll beat that path, hit the payment again, see what I could find. Well, the payment was cold and dry and not friendly, and it's pretty rough right now. So a friend of mine from high school, actually, and then we've stayed friends this whole time. She is actually in the finance industry. That is her career. And she reached out to me about an opportunity, saying, I know you've expressed interest over the past few years to get involved in this industry. Would you be willing to talk to these people? I think it would be great for you. It's a good opportunity to learn as you grow. And they have a great network set up. So I said, well, what else do I have to lose? I'm a worst case scenario person. What that means is, for example, if I lose my home, what's the worst case scenario that's going to happen? I'll move in with my in-laws. My mother-in-law is an amazing cook. Everything is from scratch, homemade. I'll gain 20 pounds, but I will have a roof over my head and a full belly. So when I was looking at getting into this industry, I said, what is the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is, for less than $100, I will have a financial education that I can apply those concepts to my own family and help better us down the road. So I felt, hey, that's a pretty good worst case scenario, if nothing else.
That follows right along with you.
Yes.
Less than $100, huh?
Yes. It's very different than real estate to get into this industry. So I am partnered with the marketing firm of Transamerica, which is an iconic building in San Francisco. And they were bought by Aegon, who is a financial world leader based out of the Netherlands. And Aegon wanted to have a presence in the United States. And so after all their research, they decided to go with Transamerica because they liked what they stood for, and they liked the opportunities that they could get with them. But they also needed the people side, us, so that's the marketing arm. And it's been really great because even though I'm in business for myself, I'm not by myself.
By yourself,
Exactly. Because I'm set up with a mentor who has years of experience. As you know, I'm just getting in and I'm learning, and I'm learning as much as I can. So it's great that I have a mentor. So if I meet with you and you say, hey, I need certain products, And if I meet with you, your life might be a little bit different age. You might have young kids. You might have kids all over the house.
Mm-hmm.
So what's really fantastic about being partnered with them is that they're non-captive, meaning that I'm not beholden to one company and their products. One company and their products might be great for you, might not be so great for you, but that's who I work for. I need to meet my quota, so I'm going to push this to you, and it might not be the best thing.
Right.
So being non-captive, I have access to over 100 different companies and their products. So after I have a meeting with you and determine what your goals are, what, you know, maybe you want to have a little extra tax-free income at retirement that you don't have to pay taxes on and stuff. We have products for that. And then being that I'm still learning, I would get with my mentor and I said, okay, here's our financial profile. You know, help me, guide me. What are we looking at? So we're, you know, products from Nationwide, Pacific Life, Athene, just 100 different A-rated companies. So it's really, really exciting.
That is exciting. That is exciting.
Yes.
Miss Lady, do you have any questions for us? Or anything? No, I'm kidding.
well, I can meet with you after this and do that.
Yes.
It's really neat because there's no quotas or territories that I have to meet. The pandemic really changed the way that this industry is run.
Really?
Because there's no more of you seeing an ad, calling up a number, saying, hey, I'm interested in this product, and then someone calling you saying, okay, let's make an appointment. Show up into your house, sitting at your kitchen table. No more of that.
No more of that.
Because of Corona.
Yes.
COVID-19, I guess that's politically correct, right?
Okay.
So it's all Zoom now, all Zoom based. You know, reaching out. It's, you know, referrals. After talking to me, you may say, hey, I have a friend named Scott. I think it'd be great to hear what you have to say. So we meet up on Zoom. So I can meet up with anybody, anywhere. I can be anywhere. So that's given a lot of freedom to the business.
That's perfect.
Yeah, especially if you have kids, young at home.
Yes. That's an education. That is a non-traditional approach.
Yes.
As you mentioned, the kitchen table in the past.
Right.
And telling Junior to get lost while I'm talking to Dad. You know.
It's not a quick get-rich scheme. You got to put in the work. Right. But the benefits are not only selfish because hopefully I'll earn a great living, but it's very altruistic because I'm turning around and giving middle-income class Americans like myself a financial education. I'm learning and sharing, and sharing. So
it couldn't be better.
Right. And they're looking for full-time, part-time people all the time.
Really?
Yes, on a part-time basis. Especially like if you're an educator, a nurse, real estate agents even, but anybody who has a drive on a part-time basis, working your 9-to-5 job, and you can do this on the side, you can easily make an extra $2,000 to $4,000 a month.
Okay.
You know, full-time, you're looking at 8 to 10 or more. You know, the sky is really the limit. So
you're actually helping people.
Helping people.
Yeah.
You're helping people help themselves.
Well, hold that thought, Michelle. We're going to be right back after this message. We're talking to Michelle Yanis, ladies and gentlemen. Be there any questions?
Excellent.
I was just trying to remember what to say.
We certainly appreciate you coming to join us today. And on that note, we out like a scout on a new route.
On a new route. Back
Thank
this
you very
time
much.
next week, everyone, on the Athletes United platform with the Edge Radio TV network, where truth still matters. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
All right. We're out.